Hey everyone, hope you're all well, and in this lecture we're just finishing up this piece. Without further ado, let's just hop into this video. So to prepare this artwork for the final flat coat, we have to clean it up from any oil residues and any dust that is laying on the surface of the artwork. For that, we're going to use alcohol to remove oil residues and baby wipes to completely wipe it off. Now we're just going to give it a wipe with alcohol, and then we're going to mark it with markers to define the geode resin lines. And once that's done, we're going to do the final flat coat. Make sure that you sign your work as well before you do the final flat coat. I did use sticker signature to add my signature, but you can use markers to do the signing as well. Here I'm just trying to show you how the first layer looks like after it cured after 24 hours. As you can see, there are dips, there are dimples, there are holes, and lots of imperfections. The surface looks a little bit foamy from the bubbles it had. We did use lots of pigment, and this caused the resin surface to look very foamy. So it does look a little bit matte and bumpy, and that's why you should always do a final flat coat of clear resin to make your surface look more mirror-like, a lot more glossier and clearer. Once you wipe the artwork, it's time to do the marking. Like I said, we're doing the markers to define the geode resin lines. So if we do have any mixing with the resin pigments, if we do have areas where we want to add more shadow or lighting to them to define them more, we're going to add markers. They do pull out the design much better, so make sure that you do the marking. You can add just a few lines, you don't have to overdo it, but they do help bring out the definition of our geode lines. And I always like to use colors that are similar to the color palette of the artwork. For example, in here I'm using green and white only. You can use gold and other colors if you want to, but I wanted to keep it as minimal as possible. In this clip, I'm using Bosca markers. They are water-based and can be removed with water very easily. You can use any water-based markers that can stay on glass or plastic surfaces. They will work fine for resin as well, but you don't have to stick to this brand in specific. And here I'm just using regular white acrylic paint to cover up the mixing between the gold and the white and the green and the white resin geode lines. I'm doing this to keep my lines clean, but it's totally optional. You can do that if you do have any mixing happening, and you can skip on it. But don't overdo it so that your lines look as natural as possible. Once you finish with the final fixes before your flat coat, now it's time to prepare for that final flat coat. So on a clean table, spread a plastic sheet to protect your table from any resin drips. Put 4 cups on the 4 edges to sit your artwork on, so that it sits on top of the surface on the table, and then use a spirit level to make sure that the artwork is leveled well. Then I went ahead and measured and mixed my epoxy resin. For this artwork, it is 12 by 10 inches, so in total I needed 50 milliliters of epoxy resin. That is 25 milliliters of part A by 25 milliliters of part B. I mixed them both together in a measuring cup and mixed them very well. Note that we're keeping our epoxy resin clear because we're only trying to achieve a glossier finish to our surface, and we're trying to get rid of the imperfections that we've seen on the first layer of our artwork. Make sure that you spread the resin all over the piece, not leaving any areas empty or intact of resin. And just try to be as quick as possible with this process so that we try to minimize the amount of dust falling on the artwork. And speaking of dust, so try to make sure that the workspace you're working in is as clean as possible, the area is ventilated, and that you've wiped the floors, wiped the walls, wiped the tables, and try to minimize the amount of objects that are present in the workspace as much as possible. And if you're able to get air purifier, if you have one, that would be great. It will definitely help in reducing the amount of dust present in the air. Otherwise, you can get a spray bottle, fill it in with water, and then spray the air in the room. That will help in minimizing the dust present in the room as well. And to further protect the artwork surface from any dust falling onto it, we're going to build a dust-free system, which I'll be showing you later on how I build it basically. Now we're going to use heat to get rid of the bubbles on the resin. Try to keep a distance away from the surface and don't overheat it so that you don't ruin that resin layer. If you get too close and use too much heat, you may end up ruining the resin layer, and you may have excessive bubbling and your resin layer may turn yellow. So try to keep a distance and do it as quick as possible. Now the flat coat is all done and I'm ready to cover the artwork to protect it from the dust. So I'm going to place 4 large cups at the 4 different corners, and then on top of them I'm gonna place a large canvas that is still sealed with a plastic sheet. Make sure that you wipe your canvases or the canvas you're going to cover the artwork with before you place it on top of the artwork. Once you place the canvas, place plastic sheets to fully cover the gaps so that no dust can leak in or go to the surface of your artwork. And that's about it, guys. Now I'm just gonna cover it up and leave it for 3 to 7 days to make sure that it's fully cured and hard to the touch, so that once I start cleaning the back edge, if anything happens, I wouldn't scratch the artwork because it would have cured very well during that period. So leave it for 3 at least to 7 days and then take it out of the covering system. That's about it, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next lecture.